Most men are not weak because they lack strength. They are weak because they are too nice. And the dangerous part, they think it makes them good. But power psychology has always understood something uncomfortable about human behavior. People rarely respect someone who cannot create consequences. And centuries ago, Niccolò Machiavelli wrote about this exact pattern, not in the language of modern psychology, but in the language of power. Because being too nice is not kindness. It is often fear wearing a polite mask, and people can sense it immediately. Here is the hidden problem most men never see. When you are excessively agreeable, constantly accommodating, always avoiding conflict, you are silently communicating one message. You will tolerate anything. At first, people appreciate it. You seem easy to work with, easy to date, easy to manage. But something strange begins to happen. Your opinions stop carrying weight. Your boundaries start disappearing. And slowly, without anyone announcing it, your status drops. Not because people are evil, because human psychology responds to signals. And excessive niceness signals low leverage. Machiavelli understood a brutal truth about power dynamics. Respect is not built on kindness alone. It is built on capability plus restraint. Meaning people must know two things about you. First, you are fair. Second, you are not harmless. Without the second, the first becomes weakness. Lesson 1. The world tests the man who never pushes back. Every environment runs quiet tests. Workplaces, friend groups, relationships. Someone interrupts you in meetings. Someone pushes extra work onto your desk. Someone makes a small, disrespectful joke. These moments look insignificant, but psychologically they are probes. People are unconsciously asking one question: what happens if I cross this line? If the answer is nothing, the line moves again and again until you become the person everyone leans on, but nobody truly respects. Machiavelli understood that stability requires the ability to respond to violations, not aggressively, but clearly, because boundaries create structure. And structure creates respect. Lesson 2. Excessive niceness creates invisible resentment. Here is the paradox most nice guys never expect. The nicer they try to be, the more frustrated they become. Why? Because they are constantly giving without balance. They say yes when they mean no. They tolerate behavior they dislike. They avoid difficult conversations. On the surface, they look calm. Underneath, resentment builds like pressure in a sealed container. Eventually it leaks out. Passive aggression, sudden emotional outbursts, silent withdrawal. But by then, the damage is done. Because people trust consistency, not hidden frustration. Power psychology teaches something simple. Clear boundaries reduce resentment, and ironically, they make relationships healthier. Lesson 3. Being too nice makes you predictable. Predictability is comforting, but in power dynamics, it can also lower perceived strength. If everyone knows you will always forgive, always accommodate, always avoid confrontation, then your behavior carries no strategic weight. Your reactions become automatic. Machiavelli believed influence requires an element of uncertainty, not chaos, not manipulation, just the quiet awareness that you're capable of more than one response. When people know you can say no, when they know you can walk away, your yes becomes meaningful, because it is a choice, not a default. Lesson 4. Respect often comes from what you refuse. Most people think reputation is built from what you do. But in reality, reputation is often built from what you decline. The project you refuse, the disrespect you calmly correct, the invitation you don't chase, the behavior you simply do not tolerate. Every refusal sends a signal. I value my time. I value my boundaries. I value myself. And people subconsciously calibrate their behavior around that signal. Power psychology calls this frame control. Machiavelli simply understood it as authority. Lesson 5. Strength without cruelty is the real goal. This is where many people misunderstand Machiavelli. They assume his philosophy promotes ruthlessness. But the deeper lesson is different. Power without restraint becomes tyranny, but kindness without strength becomes exploitation. The real balance sits in the middle. Calm, measured, self-controlled. The person who rarely raises their voice, but whose boundaries are unmistakable. The person who treats people well, but does not beg for approval. The person who can cooperate, but can also walk away. That combination creates something rare, quiet authority. And here is the final truth Machiavelli understood about human nature. People trust strength more than they trust submission, because strength feels stable, predictable, safe. When someone has the ability to enforce boundaries but chooses fairness, that person becomes respected, not feared, not ignored, respected. And in modern life, that difference changes everything. Your career, your relationships, your opportunities. Because the world does not reward the nicest man in the room. It rewards the man who understands power and uses it with discipline. So here is the uncomfortable question. Do people respect your kindness, or do they simply expect it? And once you see the difference, you start behaving very differently. If you have been too nice your entire life, you were not morally superior. You were structurally vulnerable. The world did not punish you. It simply responded to the signals you sent. Signals of unlimited access, unlimited patience, unlimited tolerance. Signals that power rarely respects. But once behavior changes, perception changes. And perception in human hierarchies becomes reality. What you have heard today is only the surface layer of these dynamics. The deeper mechanics of power, influence, and psychological dominance cannot be discussed openly, not because they are illegal, but because most people are safer not knowing them. If you stayed until this moment, you are already separating yourself from the majority who prefer comfortable illusions. Subscribe to this channel, because this space is not built for passive motivation. It is built for people willing to see the system as it actually operates. If you want deeper, uncensored insights into power psychology, strategy, and modern Machiavellian thinking, join the inner circle connected to this channel. But understand something clearly. Most people watch, very few execute, and execution is where hierarchies change. So the question now is simple. Will you remain the predictable nice man the system quietly exploits? Or will you become the man the system cannot categorize? Choices: victim or master, reactive or inevitable, invisible or respected. Make your choice now.